Special teams, man, the old days.
I know.
So that. Okay, we are now joined by Appalachian State head coach Scott Satterfield, Tay Hayes, Zach Thomas, and Darrington Evans. Now, after an opening statement by Coach Satterfield, again, a reminder to silence your devices, and if you have any questions, please raise your hand, announce yourself, your name, and your media affiliation. And then, again, after the opening statement, we'll have questions for the student athletes only before we transition to questions for Coach. So now we'll have an opening statement by the head Mountaineer in charge, Scott Satterfield.
All right. Thank you, Pierre. First of all, just unbelievable day today for us in our program. The way it all came about this season. I'm extremely proud of these players. And our senior, in particular our seniors, the way they've led our football team this year. We've faced adversity just like any other football team does throughout a season, but these guys just continue to rally each and every week. And I told them in the locker room, winning is hard. It's hard to win. It's hard to win championships. And these guys right here, they fight every day to try to make it happen. And I told them that, all that hard work paid off today with the Sun Belt Championship. And, they can't say we shared this one. This one is outright, and so we're very excited about that. We're thrilled to be able to play it right here in Boone, North Carolina tonight or today, and in front of our fans. We have incredible fans here, and they did a great job today. And we had some bad weather, but they were here. They were loud. They were into it, and our guys feed off of that. And it was not pretty at times today. A lot of hats off to Louisiana Lafayette. I mean, the way they played. They're coached well. They've gotten better throughout the season, and they're a tough team to play. And so what our guys did, just kept fighting. We knew it was going to be a 60-minute game. We kept fighting all the way to the end, and there we pulled it off at the end. And you just can't say enough about these guys, the way they fight, and what they have inside of them. We have a great group of guys that play for each other, and that's why we've been able to have so much success over the last 4 seasons, because they play for each other. It's hard to beat a team that plays for each other like we do. Proud of them, and we'll open up with questions.
Do you have any questions for the student athletes?
Ethan Joyce from the Sun Journal. Scott, you were just kind of up on the podium area, kind of taking in that scene a little bit. Awesome. I know you hugged Doug Yellen, and you kind of just like pointed around. What was that? Just describe that experience of seeing everybody swarm the field like that.
We've had a lot of firsts here, and I've been a part of a lot of firsts over the last 23 years, but I've never seen anything like that. We've never had anything like that where you set a stage up on our field, and you look out from up on top of there, and the whole thing is just App State, just all the way around. And that's incredible. We've never seen anything like that. The way they stayed here and right here to the end and helped us celebrate the, hoisting the trophy up. And that's what it's all about. I think when you start playing sports at a young age, and all the things you work for, is to hoist the trophy up at the end like that in front of your home team, your home crowd. And that's what we were able to do. And it's just it's what dreams are made of right here, and I'm so glad that these guys got to experience it this year, and these seniors. It's the 3rd time, to win championships and 3 bowls, and now we're headed to our 4th, and so it's a real feeling, quite honestly. It's pretty awesome to see what happened out there today.
Again, we like to give our student athletes time to get back to the locker room and get out of these uniforms. So if we could have questions for the student athletes first.
David Ware, 24/7 Sports. Darrington, just glancing at it, either you're going to have to take that belt up or you're going to have to put some weight on it because it's hanging a little bit. When you think back about your season, you come into the season, Jalen Moore is an iconic player around here, preseason player of the year and well-deserved, and then obviously gets hurt, and you're up. You had a first-team all-conference season yourself, and that's an incredible accomplishment for you and the entire offense. Can you talk a little bit about what it took for you mentally to be in a position where you could step in for Jalen and have the kind of impact that you've had?
I would say, like, the coaching staff made it easy. You know, we had the 10-strong group throughout the whole summer and off season. So, you know, Jalen, he was in there talking to us, the whole running back group, no limit group. So really, when he went down, you know, it kind of hurt us, but at the same time, we knew exactly what we needed to do because he, like, gave us the steps to follow throughout the whole time when he was there.
Went over 1,000 yards today. Well, that's awesome.
Appreciate it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you went over 1,000 yards today. This is Steve Baer with the paper. Can you just talk about that kickoff return? We've seen you do it before, but I guess the opening kickoff, that's just kind of setting the tone, I guess.
Kind of had a flashback, honestly. I really was waiting for the ball to go out of bounds, but then it just took a weird bounce, and I'm like, all right, I got to field it. And then, you know, the guys up front, they did a good job blocking, saw a hole, and just hit it.
Zach Colburn, Wilkes Journal Patriot. Tay, you had a big interception at a really crucial time in the game. How big is it to do that, not only as a senior, but to do that in a championship game?
It was big time, but, I mean, I can't even take the credit for it. Coach Brown called a good call. I mean, he knew what they were about to do. And, I mean, it was my job to go out and execute it. So, I mean, when the play came to me, as bad as I needed that interception, I knew I had to catch it. And I tried to score with it, but, I mean, I tried my best for my boys, but I couldn't do it. But
good return.
They scored right after that, so, I mean, it was all good.
Tyler Rash, App State Illustrated. Darrington, you talked a little bit about that return. Just your thoughts on being able to perform like this, 218 all-purpose yards in a championship game.
I would just say I'm blessed, you know. I really wasn't even really thinking about it that much. I was just trying to, you know, put our team in a good position to get a victory for this game.
Zach, App State Athletics, just can you kind of go through the reads on both touchdown runs and especially the second one? You guys have been stopped on 1 4th down, and if that played at all into kind of the decision and the call that you guys had on the second one?
Yeah, so we ran a play that was supposed to read the DN. So DN crashed, and I was about to throw it to tight end, and I thought I could beat the guy that was covering the tight end. So I pulled it and ran, and in my head I was saying to myself that I wasn't going to get tackled. I was going to get in the end zone as much as I could. Phenomenal job blocking up front. Heck of a job by the tight ends and what they did. So really blessed to have them up front.
Tay, Sat was talking about what's been accomplished these last few years, and you're a guy that's seen a lot of it. And you've mentioned before how you were part of that crew that got to see the last bit of FCS and then the FBS. So, you know, what's this moment like when you look back at what you've got to be a part of here at App State?
I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing seeing the transition from the coaches to the players to the athletic training staff to everybody. I mean, we've all, all of us, we just picked up our part. And, I mean, we've all just put our best foot forward, and we've all just tried our best. So, I mean, I couldn't be more blessed to go to this university. I mean, everybody here just puts their best foot forward. I mean, we deserve the championship, the whole school. So, I mean, I'm just happy for everybody.
Darrington, I think you only had, after your return, I think the offense had 5 yards rushing. That's right. Just kind of talk about what did they do to stop you early, and what did you guys do to kind of get on track? Zach, if you could handle that one too.
I really didn't even notice it much, to be honest. You know, we were doing what we needed to do to move the ball, keep the defense off the field for a certain amount of time, you know, give them a breather and stuff, but I didn't really notice it too much.
Just to piggyback on that, they have a phenomenal D-line. They got some big dudes up front, and their linebackers were crashing. It was big because we started opening the passing game up, so they had to move people out of the box at the very beginning, and they were just loading the box, and running lanes weren't there. So I think it was big when we picked up the passing game in the third quarter because they opened the box, and that's when they started breaking all their big runs.
Tay, defensively, you guys were pushed back into the red zone a handful of times, and were able to hold them, contain them to some field goals. You know, what were you guys talking about on the field when you kind of got backed up to the end zone? And then how do you feel like continuously containing them to the field goals was affecting their offense?
I mean, anytime an offense drives the ball down the field and, I mean, the defense continues to stop them, I mean, that's tough on offense. I mean, sooner or later they start down themselves. And, I mean, we've got a tough defense. We got some boys that's always ready to play, and we got some coaches that's always ready to coach. And we're all just trying to be the best we can be. I mean, Coach Brown called a blitz and we're going for it. Cover 0, we're going to cover them. So, I mean, whatever Coach Brown calls, that's what we play. I mean, we played it to the best of our ability, and we executed pretty good today. I mean, anytime you can hold a team like that and not let them score down in the red zone. And they got some good running backs. They got a good O-line, and they were dropping the ball on us. But, I mean, at the end of it, we stopped them, and that's what matters.
Connor O'Neill with Winston-Salem Journal. Zach, maybe you don't realize this in the course of the game, but do you have any sense of every time you guys seem to need a big play, you came up with one? I guess that's for a 10-2 team. I guess that's what you guys have been doing all year, right?
Yeah. Me and Coach Ponce on the headset, we talked about it. And at the beginning, I wasn't playing good football. I was making stupid decisions and reads. And we talked, and he said you're gonna have to make some plays on your feet. So a lot of credit to the O-line. They were blocking, and I was making the reads and pulling them and getting upfield as much as I could. So I mean, it's kind of hard when you have Darrington. They're gonna go on in Darrington. He's a phenomenal running back. So that kind of helps me out in some run games.
Brant Wilkerson, new Greensboro News and Record. Tay, you've been here kind of for more big games than anybody. How did this compare to some of those Thursday nights, and what's kind of the scene that sticks with you from the end when the students are running out there and celebrating and stuff?
I mean, that's the best part about it. I mean, we've got one of the best fan bases in the world. I mean, it was one point I kind of got caught up in watching the fans. I was like, they're better than watching the game because, I mean, they were going crazy. The fans were going crazy. I mean, and that's what gets us going. I mean, we can't let the fans down. And, I mean, when you see them out there, it's raining out there, and they're all out there. It's packed house. I mean, we got to go hard for them. So, I mean, the fan base really gets us going. So, that's a good part about it.
Any other questions for our student athletes?
Zach, I know we've talked about you a lot taking over the quarterback role and just kind of how much confidence you felt from Sad when he gave you that. To look back on the season you've been able to put together and the season you guys have put together so far, just how do you feel about it now?
I feel very blessed. This team is very, very special. I mean, even in the off season, coming in as a new quarterback, it's kind of hard. A lot of people doubt you. This team has helped me and boosted my confidence level unbelievable. Every day, I mean, I had O-linemen, running backs, everybody saying that, I mean, you can do this. It doesn't matter. So it was very rewarding today, getting out there and our team winning that Sun Belt Championship, first ever, at The Rock. It was phenomenal. I owe a lot of credit. I mean, I owe all the credit to the offense. They do a phenomenal job. I wouldn't be anything if I didn't have an O-line like them. On passing plays, they block their butts off, and running plays, they do the same thing. So really, all around, I'm blessed. I mean, I have probably some of the best receivers in college football right now. So all around, it's been awesome.
If there are no more questions for our student athletes, we'll excuse them to get back to the locker room. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, now we'll open it up for questions for head coach Scott Satterfield.
David Rogers, Monarch News. Scott, looking at the stat sheet, I don't think I've seen too many games that have even up in terms of the stats as much as this game, except for the 2 turnovers. What are your thoughts on?
I hadn't had a chance to look at the stats. I know the first half it was pretty ugly in the stat category. You know, and I don't know if the weather had a lot to do with that or if it just two teams playing really good defense had a lot to do with that. And, you know, the one thing about Louisiana is that their defense has gotten better throughout the whole season. And we know how good their offense is. Our defensive coaches said they had the best D-line or O-line that they've played this year coming into this game, and how dynamic their running backs are. They're hard to tackle. They're big backs. They have great vision, and they're hard to bring down. So they hit some running plays on us today. I think that the difference in the game probably was the fact that we held them to the field goals instead of the touchdowns. I think that's the huge difference in the game. Obviously, the turnovers. You have to win turnover margin if you want to try to win these close games like this and championships, because the turnovers Tay Hayes is big. That was huge. And we ended up going down and scoring on that. And I mean, probably the difference in the game right there in the fourth quarter. So that was big. You know, we didn't have Vic Johnson tonight. He tried to go at left tackle. I thought Cole Garrison did an outstanding job of filling in at left tackle for that. So what that did, we didn't have much depth on the offensive line. So, you know, we were fortunate that most of all the guys stayed healthy. I think Bear Hunter went out one time, but was able to come right back. You know, but yeah, it was the difference probably was the turnovers, I think, probably that, and the fact we held them to field goals.
Coach, you talked about a little bit of the sloppy play on offense and defense, and then there at the beginning of the game, they come down and get the field goal, and Darrington's able to answer right back with a big special teams play. How big was the special teams play for you all today?
Well, it's huge. You know, I think our special teams, we've really leaned on them this season. It's probably one of the big bright spots that we've had this year is special teams, really all year. I mean, we've blocked a bunch of kicks. We've scored touchdowns. That was big. You know, it wasn't a touchdown, but we scored the next play, so it was just like a touchdown. You know, in a game where the defense is really both defenses are playing great, then that's a huge play, particularly in the first half, because I don't think we did anything offensively in the first half. So that kept us in the game. You know, we got the lead right there, and then I don't think we ever give it up. You know, because we're holding the field goal. So obviously a big play.
Coach Brooks Maynard, the Appalachian. Chandler Staten went perfect 3 for 3 from all three north of 40 yards today. How big is it, especially in a game like this where it seemed every point really mattered, to have a kicker you know you can go in and make
it was huge.
field goals?
It was very. What was their kicker? 4 for 4, maybe. I mean, it was 4 for 4. So they were battling. The kickers were battling today. You know, in the last couple of games, Chandler missed I think a 31-yarder, maybe, and a 30-yarder in back-to-back games. And but he came up big today, nailing those over 40-yard field goals. And I'm gonna tell you, those kicks were true. I mean, when he hit them, they went right down the middle. So you know, he did a great job today with the kicking. I mean, in a game like today, if you're getting held to field goals, you got to be able to make them. And he battled right there. I think we just scored more touchdowns. I think that's probably the biggest difference, you know, because both teams struggled to move the ball. And then when we got down there, we scored those touchdowns. I think that was huge for us. We preach touchdowns all the time. I hate kicking field goals. I mean, we had situations where we had to, you know, tonight. And so when that happens, he's got to make them.
Scott, a couple of fourth down calls to review. The one on your side of the 50 that you went for didn't go your way. Give me some thoughts on that. And then when it came back and it was time for the fourth down call that Zach scored on later, what did you tell him before he got back on the field? Did you happen to hint to him, listen, don't be shy, pull that ball and go?
Well, you know, number one, I got confidence in our defense. Our defense is one of the best defenses in the country. And no matter where we're at on the field, I feel pretty good about it. If you didn't get our defense would show up and stop them. We held them to a field goal on that drive. That's just being aggressive. I think, you know, you try to steal possessions, and, you know, right there, if you kick it back to them now, who knows what their offense is going to do. So we went for it. I have confidence in our guys to make the play. You know, we didn't make that one. And, you know, then we came back down, and it's 4th and 1 again. So this time I just wanted to put it in the hands of Zach. Let's let him make a play. And so it was a zone read type play that we've been successful on really the last half of the season, where he can pull it now. You can throw it to the receiver, or pull it up and go. And he did a great job turning that one up and scoring. I mean, we all seen his legs this year, and he's been a great asset for us to have in the running category. And I think that's huge, because when you have a team, if you're struggling throwing the football, you got to be able to run it, and you want your quarterback to be able to run. And so we leaned on that tonight. He scored 2 big touchdowns, and then of course Darrington had another big day running. But when you're struggling throwing the ball a little bit, you got to lean on that run game, and I think that was the difference for us offensively.
Scott, you were talking about the stretch you guys had put together. But what's the thing you're proudest of from this recent run?
I guess this game. I mean, it's the last one. I mean, I don't know. I mean, proud of all of it. What we've been able to accomplish. I mean, the last 4 years. I don't know. It's a lot of wins. I don't know how many it is, but it's a lot. And we've been competitive, and even in our losses, you know, we've been really close to winning some of those. So, but it's this one, because we just won the Sun Belt Championship again for the 3rd straight year. The thing that I think why we've been so successful is we preach this all the time, is staying in the moment. What can we do today to get better? What can we? Who do we have this week? And that's all our focus is. I mean, and our guys have bought into that, and it's cliche, and I think a lot of people probably say it, but we live it here, and. So I really don't remember much of the past right there, and I don't really care about the future. We're all staying right here. We're trying to beat Louisiana. And I think when you do that, and then you're able to step back and just look and see at the body of work, it's usually pretty good. And that's what we've been able to accomplish. And so I don't know, man. You just look forward to the next one now. I mean, that's just, so we'll celebrate this one for a little bit, but I think as a coach, you're just always looking forward and trying to get better all the time. But I'm just happy for our guys because they get to experience this. And that's what I'm really most happy for. Because like tonight, I saw guys that played with me 25 years ago that were out here, and they were just as happy as the guys in that locker room right now because they know what the program's all about. And guys that played, I saw Isaiah Lewis. I mean, he just played last year. So, I mean, I saw guys from 1990 or 80s all the way to right now that were here that is just as proud because they were in that locker room. And that's what it's all about. I mean, Pierre played here. I mean, he's proud. He's got, so it's just a program, man. It's just, and that's what it's been. It's been a great program over a long period of time. And so that's what's exciting. And I'm glad these guys get to carry that on a little bit another year.
Now that you say you don't look back, but what's your perspective on from the time that you got here to now hosting an FBS level championship game? And I know some people kind of doubted the move at first and it didn't get off to a great start. Just what's your thought on that?
Well, it's pretty incredible, quite honestly, to say we were 4-8 my first year, and then we started 1-5 the next year. You were here. It's 5-12 as a head coach, and really I've talked about it a lot going to Montgomery. That really beating Troy that day to me changed everything for us moving forward, because we went down there in a really good program, and I know Coach Blakeney was on the way out, but we played great that day, and I think it gave us confidence. And so we finished that season and beaten Louisiana, Lafayette, and Ark State on back-to-back road trips, and we hadn't looked back since then, really. And each class that's come in here, freshman class that's come in or senior class that's left, they've left a legacy since that time. And I think it's just confidence that our program's had, and they know it's like our routine's been the same for 4 years. You can pick a date on the calendar in March or April or June, and we're going to tell you what we're doing because we haven't changed the routine. It's been the exact same, and the guys believe in it. And so, but I really believe it started, that trip to Montgomery kind of set us all in motion. And it's been a great ride. It's been unbelievable to win all these games, but it is staying in the moment. I think that's why we've been able to do it.
Kenneth Reese with WataugaOnline.com. There was a point in the game when they had, I believe it was 1st and 25, and they had three straight running plays to get that first down. What was the mindset for you on the sideline at that point? Because they had actually been getting, big gains consecutively there in that third quarter.
Yeah, I know it, and we've been so good stopping the run this year. And but they had a good scheme. The counter and the inside zone was working well for them, and they were. And then again, we mentioned these backs. They had really good backs. I think, obviously we didn't like that. It's 1st and 25. You feel like you got a good chance to get off the field, but I just have a lot of confidence in our defense, and so even when they get a first down, I feel like we'll hold them to a field goal. And I've never thought field goals beat you. So along this game tonight, we kept holding them to another field goal attempt, so 4 of them. And I just felt like, man, we're doing that. We got a great chance of winning this football game because, that's only 12 points, instead of 28. I mean, that's a big difference. So our defense don't panic. And so even when guys move it, we feel like, okay, we'll still stop them. We hold a field goal. That's a win. We come off, we're feeling pretty good. We'll make adjustments. So, those guys have been playing like that all year, so it's a great bunch.
David Rogers, Blowing Rock News. Seeing those beads around your neck, what are your thoughts about New Orleans? New
Orleans, we've kind of, just not really anybody said much about it, but when we first got in the league, we always kind of thought that the winner of the league goes to New Orleans. That's kind of what we thought. We didn't know any better about that, but and we felt like, well, we've kind of slipped over us the last few years about going to play in New Orleans, and then once our guys found out, well, if you win the championship this year, you're going to New Orleans. I think that kind of fired everybody up, and and let me make this clear: we don't care where we go bowling. We just want to go bowling, and it's a great experience. We've been to Montgomery and Mobile. It doesn't matter which city. They put on a good show for the guys, and they show them the city, and you get to interact with the people. I think maybe our fans wanted somewhere else besides Alabama, but I think for our players and us coaches, we just want to go. But now that we are going to New Orleans, you playing a prime time slot on ESPN. I think it's 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night, the 15th, 2 weeks from today. So everybody's excited and pumped about going to a different city. And they probably, I was talking about in the locker room, maybe a handful of our guys have been to New Orleans. That's maybe it. So that's a little scary. we'll try to prep them pretty good before we head down. But they deserve it. I mean, part of playing college football and going to a school is getting to experience life and going to new cities and experiencing new cities, and they get that's their reward. To get to go to New Orleans and experience that and go to Bourbon Street, just see it and all that, not get too crazy, but just see it, and then come back to the hotel and get ready to go play a football game. So that's exciting. I think it's exciting for these young people, and they'll remember these memories they have, like tonight. That's why I told them at halftime, guys, you'll remember these next 30 minutes for the rest of your life, and they will. I talk about my '95 championship. You know, they just will keep talking about it. Pierre talks about his and how good he was back in the day. You know, and so they'll have stories and they'll embellish them as the years go on. But it's exciting for them. I'm happy for them to be able to experience New Orleans, here in 2 weeks.
So you guys have played plenty of big December football games here, but hadn't in the Sun Belt. Is it kind of a different feel for Boone to have meaningful football in December? And have you talked to Coach Moore at all this week about that kind of thing?
I hadn't talked to him, but it is different, this time because, back when we were in the playoffs, you win, you keep going, you lose, it's over. And so this was a little bit different, the fact that, either way we were still going to postseason play. But this is special because, it's a one game, you win, you're winning the championship. That's what's special about it. And it's awesome with the build-up that was in this game. There's a lot more media throughout the week, and you have a press conference on Friday, and the ESPN's in here. So it's awesome to have that media build-up, I think, for the one conference championship. And I don't know how many games today there were with the conference championship games, maybe 6 or 7 or 8. I don't know what it was, but we're one of them, and that's pretty cool. And it's that's different than the way it was back when we were playing in Division I AA FCS.
Scott, you talked about you stayed in the moment.
Yeah.
What's the significance of being able to spend basically your entire career here and be able to experience all the things you've referenced so far?
As you look back on it, it's been great. It's been very special. You just met my wife here and went to school here, and I've been in this room right here a lot. And this was our team room for many, many years. When I left to go to Toledo, this is where we were. You come back, now we're in the new building, and now we're getting ready to tear this down and come build a new one right here. So I've seen a lot of change in here. It's just been great to see the university grow over the years. When I was in school here, I think there were 7,000 students. Now we're pushing close to 20. We've built a lot of things. We've gotten bigger fans, support. We're on more of a national stage. It's great to be able to see the rise and to be a part of so many great wins over the years. But I think what makes this place special, and always has been, and probably always will, is the people. I mean, there's always great people to be associated with around this parts, and the leadership that have been here, that have come and gone. And then also, like the board of trustees, guys making decisions, the decision makers have done a great job over the years, and I think that's where we are right now. He mentioned the fact that, there was some. Does people want to make the move to FBS? It's been a resounding yes. It was a great decision to make over what we've been able to accomplish the last 4 years.
Any other questions?
Got one back there.
Chris Peterson, WXI-TV. Coach, you may not like this one as much, but I'd be remiss if I didn't at least ask you about the fact that with that success come rumblings about you taking a job somewhere else at the end of the year. Louisville in particular has put you on their short list from what we understand. What's your response to that?
Yeah, it's the same response I've always had. In the last 4 years, you've gotten inquiries from different colleges, other colleges, and I think I'd rather it be that way than the other way. I've said that over and over. This is a tough business and a tough profession that we're in. And when you struggle, you're probably not going to struggle for very long because they're going to find somebody else. And when you're having success, your name will get mentioned, and it's flattering and it's great, but it's a credit to our staff, our players, and so if there is interest, then we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when it happens. But to this point, there hasn't been any, and I know there's been rumors, all kind of stuff, all kind of talk and all that. But I'm focused on winning this conference championship. That's happened. We've won it, and so now we'll cross that bridge now. Since we're at the end of the season.
Probably not important at all, but how does the Satterfield family celebrate this one tonight?
Well, we're called the boring Satterfields. I just go home and watch football games, sitting on my couch, usually by myself, or because my wife, she's there with me. But in probably, I don't want the record's been 5 minutes, but usually about 15 minutes she's asleep. And so I'm sitting there, I ask her a question, I look over, and she's sleeping on the couch. So, and my kids are teenagers, so they just go straight downstairs and do their own thing. So I'm there by myself watching football. That's probably what I'll end up doing. I mean, it's pretty boring, really. But and I could go play, but I'm going to tell you, it's exhausting for me, just mentally, really, football games. And I just like the peace and quiet, quite honestly. I like just to sit there, relax, kind of just decompose, and watch a game that I don't really care who wins or loses, and I just can relax. And so that's what I like to do. And and so it's pretty boring, but I just got to calm down, and usually doesn't work because I usually stay up and watch the late game too, And then Sunday I'm tired again, to start the next week. But really just to unwind because, it's a mentally draining on the sideline and all week prep and all the things you have to go through. You just really need some time just to sit there and relax. And so that's kind of what I do.
We're going out again.
I bet. I know some other people in that locker room probably going out too. So we appreciate all you guys covering us. Thank you, guys.
All right, y'all. Thank you. And the Sun Belt Conference would like to thank all the media and attendance.